Hello, in this chapter we will see three different types of inputs: digital inputs, analog inputs, and interrupt inputs. Using Arduino boards or Arduino-based PLC, both are recommended to connect PNP sensors. It means that the PLC needs to read voltage to understand that the signal is on high level. On the other hand, the analog inputs from the PLC work at the industrial standards from 0 to 10 volts. Take the note that the Arduino Leonardo and the Arduino Mega work both at 5 volts. Then it means that they have to receive 5 volts from the sensor in the digital input. On the other hand, any analog signal connected directly on the Arduino boards can work from 0 to 5 volts, because of the input from the Arduino boards work at 10 bits. What you can read is a linear value from 0 to 1023. Now we will see how the input work, how they have to be connected, and how they have to be programmed. First of all, we will see how a sensor has to be connected. Most of them have 3 wires. I don't want less time in this video explaining all possibilities of sensors, but if you have any question, you can contact with a tutor sending an email at course@industrialshields.com, and your individual tutor will answer your questions. Okay, a sensor has a cable called signal. This wire has to be connected on the input connector from the PLC. It is the same case for all types of sensors, analog or digital. Usually, sensors also have to be connected at the power supply. Then, they have to be connected at the voltage. In industrial use, it is usually to connect at 24 volts and at the ground or COM. There are a lot of sensors which can be connected from 12 to 24 volts. It's the same case we have on the PLC. Usually, on installation, that the power supply which is powering the PLC is the same power supply which is powering the sensors. After connecting the PLC and the sensor at the power supply, all that remains is connect the signal wire from the sensor to the input pin in the PLC. Now, we will see how the digital signal works. Digital input have 2 states: low state, when we read a 0 value on the program, and high level, when we read 1 on the program. It means that when the sensor don't provide signal, the input is located in low state, and when the sensor provides voltage, the input is in high level. The analog input from industrial sensor usually provides a signal from 0 to 10 volts. These sensors cannot be connected directly on the Arduino board, because it works from 0 to 5 volts. But these sensors can be connected directly on the Arduino-based PLC. The analog inputs have 10 bits. It means that we will read a value from 0 to 1023. This value works as a linear interpolation. It means that there is a constant relation between 0 volts and the 0 value we read, and 10 volts and the 1023 value we read. And for sure, if we read 510, the input is receiving 5 volts. As you can see on the picture, you can read all values and they can be fixed independent from the time. And we will read the same value if the input doesn't change. On the other hand, on the PLCs we have some input which work as opto-isolated. It means that the power supply connected to the PLC can be different than the power supply powering the sensor. Then it is necessary to connect the signal cable from the sensor to the input pin. But it is also necessary to connect the negative cable from the sensor to the right pin next to the input. It is usually used on installations where you want to have separately the main installation and the PLC. Finally, we will see how the interrupt inputs work. We can imagine that we have programmed the logical sequence and it is running. The code is running in order as it is rated, and when it is finalizing, we start again and so on. Then, if we receive signal from the interrupt input, the running program is stopped immediately and the PLC starts running the interrupt sequence. After the execution of the interrupt sequence, the program continues at the same point where the program stopped before the interrupt signal read. These type of signals are used basically in inputs which we need to read as a priority on the installation, and the scan time is higher than the time required to read those signals. For example, if we need to read a rotary encoder to count the number of revolutions from a shaft, we need to read all pulses, and the time between each other is higher than the scan time from the PLC. Now, we will see on the Arduino IDE how a digital input is read. First of all, we open the Arduino IDE. We see that the default file already have a template, where we have the void setup at the beginning to configure different signals and variables, and the void loop at the end, where we will write the main code executing the logical of the project. Okay, here we open the first example of digital input doing click on File, Examples, And on the first section we have 01 basics, and we open the example called as read serial. It is usual to read some comments at the beginning of the program, where we can read what the program do. Then, after the comments, we declare all variables used in the program, and after that, these variables are configured at the setup menu. This example is interesting because we also have the serial port configured because we want to read the input stage and the serial monitor in the Arduino IDE. It is done using the sentence serial begin and the velocity of transmission between the PLC and the laptop. In this case, we use 9600 bits per second. On the setup menu, we also configure a variable called push button as an input, because we want to define the value as we have in the input. After the configuration, we add the main code on the void loop. First of all, we read the input called as push button, and we save the current value on the button state variable. Then, we send the current value of the variable at the serial monitor using the sentence serial print ln, where, between brackets, we write the name of the variable. Okay, then if we upload the program on the Arduino based PLC, we can read the value on the serial monitor from the Arduino IDE. Well, the next interesting logic is what we can find on the debounce example, in the example 02 digital. This example shows us how to add a filter reading an input. We also could use the example as a timer. This filter let us to add a filter in the input which will be understood as a high level after the time defined on the filter. The first thing done in this program is define and configure the variables. In this example, the first thing done is configure the input and the output. This example is very interesting because the first we found is a variable which is configured on the setup as the value read from the input. Then, the first thing the PLC will do immediately after the powering will be defined to the value of this variable as the current value from the input. After the setup configuration, you can read the main program in the void loop. The first thing to do is reading the digital input. Then, we start the if sentence where the time starts using the millis sentence. Using that, the timer starts when the input changes the state from low to high level. After a time, defined as the bounce delay, we change the state of the variable defined at high level, and we understand that the input is correctly read. The example is very interesting because some mechanisms can include some rebounds. For example, buttons, limit sensor, and read sensor. To finalize, we have seen the state from input and the serial monitor, but we also can use some SCADA interface. In fact, we will see during the next chapters how it is possible to include a basic SCADA interface on our projects, which led us to do project using the USB connector from the Arduino. Now we will see how an analog input works. You can open the example analog input from the 03 analog folder in the example menu. In this example, first of all, you can read some comments where we can read the sentence analog read, which we will see in this example. After the comments, we can read how the variables are defined, and we can read the variable called as sensor pin, which is defined from the A0 analog signal from the Arduino. On the other hand, we also define an output using the 13 pin from the Arduino. On the setup, we can read that it is only necessary to configure the output because the analog signals are automatically defined and it is not necessary to define it again. Continuing to the program, the first thing written in the void loop is read the analog input and save the current state in the variable signet. The variable will inform us the analog value from the input. The analog input works at 10 bits. Then we can read the signal from 0 to 1023. In these examples, we also include the name of the variable inside the delay sentence because, in this case, the time defined as a delay is depending from the analog input. Today, we have seen two timer functions, the first one using the delay sentence and the second one the millis sentence. In fact, we don't recommend use the delay sentence in industrial environments because the scan time is stopped while the delay sentence is running. We recommend use the millis function because it is much easier to be controlled. Anyway, we only have to keep in mind the time before the sentence and compare it with the value of the internal time during the sentence. Okay, now we can show how the interrupt input runs. To know how the interrupt input works is very easy, and we can see the sentence inside the Arduino web page. Basically, we can use the attack interrupt send search on the arduino.org. First of all, it is necessary to see the interrupt name for the right input because that number is different how the pins are called, working as a digital signal. See details from the Arduino Leonardo and Arduino Mega. The interrupt input must be called inside the void loop. Then, it is possible to choose different functions. For example, change the current state, receive a high state. Well, we can choose different options. The sentence asking for an interrupt input is attack interrupt. And as you can see here, there are different ways to program it. First of all, we have to be in mind that the logical done during the interrupt must be programmed outside of the void loop. Then, when the attack interrupt function inside the void loop will be activated, the code will stop and the interrupt logic are going to start running. Each PLC has indicated signals which can work as interrupt functions. We can also see in the silk screened from the PLC using the RBox relay, one of which we have shown during this chapter. We can see on the mapping, and we can also see the interrupt identification of each pin. On the other way, we also have interrupt inputs on the Arduino. As you can see here, into the Industrial Shields web page, it is easy to identify the name of the interrupt using the pin available on the Arduino Mega. You can connect an interrupt input as you connect digital inputs. There are different ways to program interrupt inputs. I would recommend you review how interrupt inputs can work, having the clear concept about how they work. Okay, I'll wait for you in the next chapter.